Yeah, I'm still at the office.
Yep. So, do we need to be quiet in the office or
No, we don't need to be quiet. It's in my free time, but using their space now.
cool? Good, good. So,
Yeah, I wanted to say something that I'm kind of occupied uh in in my free time this time because I need to find a place until the end of June. I need to move. And sorry for not giving you an upfront or something like that, but yeah, it's usually around 5 or 6 o'clock when I'm going to see apartments.
sure. Well, thanks for giving the heads up now.
Yeah, but sorry for missing the last week.
Very good. Um,
Yeah, I will turn off my camera if I found it.
oh no, no, no. I mean, yeah. I mean, just on that note, actually, I highly encourage if you're comfortable with it, please leave the camera. Like, I highly encourage everyone to turn on their camera because it really helps everybody. Yeah. Anyway, everybody connect. But
Okay. Not sure my connection is so good, but anyway.
um, right. So, Adina, while we get going here, I'll ask: Is how are the? Oh yeah, Naveen. That's fine. How are the restrictions in? Well, probably.
So it depends on the country. Austria, it's pretty. There is a lot of freedom in Austria, in Vienna, I will say. So also more more flight company are gonna open. I bought a ticket to Romania at the beginning of July, but still officially it's not the airlines the route is not opened. What is good in Austria? You have so there are routes to Germany, like 3 on a day, to Bulgaria, Belgium. I saw, but didn't say you didn't saw about US.
Oh, okay.
Uh, Probably today it's like a critical day after 15. There will be more announcement and after 1st of July also.
Interesting. Okay. Huh.
Do
Yeah, I
you
don't.
know if KubeCon is gonna be online or because I think that they changed it in August, right?
Yeah, the KubeCon EU, it will be virtual for sure, and
Mm-hmm.
then there is a KubeCon China or Asia or something as well, and it will be virtual. And I don't remember the dates for that. But then KubeCon North America in Boston, I think that's a TBD. Like I don't that I haven't heard word one way or the other on that.
Mm-hmm. But when it is scheduled to be
November, mid-November.
mid-November, probably by that time they will.
Yeah, I would hope so.
How how are those things going on your side?
There, we anticipate probably that there's some travel restrictions and just general restrictions that are being lifted, and that I think there's an anticipation that things are going to get kind of nasty again in like toward the end of the summer, or even like in October after a lot of kids go back to school.
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's I'm not sure if we've seen the worst of it or not. I hopefully just people how hopefully there's people wearing more masks, I guess. Like I think it's going to be around for a while.
Well, that being says it's just not to spread the virus, not but actually I don't think it's like going to protect you. Anyway, now it's pretty a lot of freedom, I will say, in the restaurants and in the lot of places they are not wearing mask anymore. Also in the office now. I mean, you need to have like 1 meter distance, but
Right. Yeah, yeah. I got to say my
by the way, if you find out of flights to Europe, I also have a friend who is interested in bringing her parents here.
oh, okay.
yeah, they let's say something like they were staying with her sister or her brother and so on. They lost their job and then they changed where they staying with the rent or something. Not sure, but yeah. And she wants to bring them here as soon as the airlines are open.
Oh no shit. To Austria from the US.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's hard not to fall in love with the
With the
beautiful the countryside. Yeah,
yeah, with the peaceful and the quiet that is here and the
yeah,
nature. It's good.
yeah. I really. Okay, fair enough. So a couple items as we get going now. So we're six after. Welcome everyone. A couple topics up for discussion. The first is maybe an easy one, and that is just that we might pull back our meeting time to about 30 minutes a week up until the point that we kind of get a better traction, and hopefully 30 minutes will force us to squeeze some things and be more concise. In part because we've got a lot of meetings going on each week. So good. So then, next topic, Kush, do you want to talk about bring up some work that you've done on a discussion that we've had previously in this group?
Okay, so since we were having less labels about issues and PRs, and we seriously needed to add some labels for better triage and better contributing experience. So we were having a long discussion since around 2 weeks to have new labels for layer 5 organization and for Meshery project also. So I have pulled off the list for all of the labels which we are going to add better descriptions with descriptions against them. So here's the list you can see.
Just as a refresher, we kind of talked about the importance of labels ongoing, not only for just good hygiene in keeping track of all the various activities that we're doing in GitHub, but also to ultimately begin to wrap some better automation around, some better workflows around for either building out for a bunch of things, for better release drafter notes, for better conditional logic inside of the CI workflows. And so this is essentially kind of a final draft of what we consider that probably looks like. Very briefly, there are some labels that identify the area that a particular issue falls into. These aren't all of the areas that the project has, but so all of these labels that you see have been defined at an organizational level for Layer 5 IO as an org. So anytime a new repo is created, all of these labels are available to that new repo. We just created a new repo yesterday for a Meshery operator. There's a number of new repos that have been created recently. That unfortunately means that the existing repositories don't automatically inherit these organizational level labels. So there will be a little bit of manual work for us to go propagate these across the other existing repositories. Now, Kush, point of clarification of the labels that are intended to be available for, well, so in GitHub, there's no distinguishment between labels that are available for issues and labels that are available for pull requests.
I think there can be difference in both of them.
Please, yeah, say more, Shivai, because I
Uh,
don't.
I was saying that I have seen certain labels that are very specific to the pull request, and like there are the ones which are specific to the issue. So I didn't get your point that are you saying that they are the same for both, or there's no distinction between them?
Yeah, that was my understanding, or I guess I just like at an organizational level, when you're defining the labels that can be available to all repositories, they just talk about issue labels. And I didn't see a way of designating between this label being available for an issue and this label being available for a PR. That that doesn't mean that you can't, like in our conceptual use of a label, that we wouldn't consider that it's only applicable to a PR but I didn't know how in configuration of the repositories how to segregate labels in that way. And I could be wrong. Like maybe there is that ability. Okay, so assuming that these labels begin to be propagated and become to be generally available, how can we better take advantage of the fact that these are here? Is there a triage bot that we've talked about a triage bot in the past for issues? So does that mean that we want to start to have a triage bot, build some intelligence into one of those for labeling issues correctly?
We can have issue labeling bot. It's basically a bot based on machine learning algorithms, which basically learns from all of the repositories that have been enabled, and it assigns issue labels to issues with certain uh, I don't know that with certain percentage, like how it is sure.
In the past, Kush, you had, I think, added such a bot to this repo, right?
We have added PR triage bot, which basically labels PR according to if they are unreviewed, if they are draft, if they are approved or not.
Okay. Okay, so that's an area of investigation for someone. Does anyone in particular want to try to identify the best bot for us to potentially use to assign these?
For assignees, I saw one GitHub Actions on this. I tried that. Seems to be working, but I haven't explored much on that. So what it does is it assigns the PR according to the repo on which it is. We need to define those parameters.
Nice. Yeah. Udit, do you remember the name of that GitHub action?
I can give me some 2 minutes. I can share that.
Okay. While Udit is bringing that up, I guess, onto the next topic here, or onto the related topic, which is who has a perspective on how we begin to go about incorporating workflow logic based on labels?
We can have conditional logic, like if PR matches a certain label, so run the following workflows, and if does like a if conditional logic, simple.
Can we also have some components regarding to the application? I mean, yeah,
Right.
it's exactly what I meant. I mean, components or projects. Like if it's the CLI, okay, it's obviously the component, but if it's actually, yeah, now I
No,
don't.
right.
There's no need for components, I think, because we already have
Well,
them separately.
yeah, I mean, that's a great question in that, like in the Meshery repo, we do specifically in there begin to call out a couple components, like Meshery CTL is a good example. And that Meshery CTL isn't exactly covered under one of the areas that we have defined right now. But that, yeah, building only Meshery CTL could really help save a lot of time, So do we, as we look at defining more explicitly a given component?
Yeah,
do-
but not too many components, because then again it's getting complicated. Oh, I mean, actually, it's not getting complicated. It's getting complicated for me. That's the difference.
Well, yeah, as we were going through this, I think that was one of, I didn't explicitly write it down in this doc, but or maybe I did. One of the goals is to just keep the number of labels as low as possible, or as small, as few as possible, because it becomes unwieldy. And the reality is, like, the use of the labels is in some respects only so good as the people that are curating them, that are taking the issues and assigning the correct labels. So yeah, does it make sense to everyone that if we do have component labels, that we would have that was those would say like component slash the name of the thing?
If it's supported, yes. I'm not so aware with the Git flow, with the GitHub,
This ends
with
up
the GitHub Actions. Or I mean, not the, what is the this thing that is linking the issues with.
it is, it ends up the name of the label ends up just being a string, and so yeah, the conditional logic that you can have inside of a workflow can just match against that string, the label string. And so, yeah, so I think, so it's okay that we sort of make up our own hierarchy, so to speak. It's not literally a hierarchy. It's just a string. All right. So Udit is looking for that link, and then Kush, you said,
He actually sent it.
oh, very good. And then does anyone, so Kush had said that we could begin to build in, conditional logic into the workflow. Is anybody itching to take that on? So for example, if there was a docs label that I think the logic would be, unless there's a docs label, don't bother building the documentation site. And maybe unless there's a Meshery CTL label, don't bother building Meshery CTL. Does that logic make sense?
Yep, it makes sense.
Any volunteers to take this forward? Maybe I'll start like this. Any volunteer to just write up the issue that describes what we're trying to accomplish here?
I'll do it.
Nice. Oh, thank you, Kush. Right now, the label is called Meshery CTL, but if we're being forward thinking about it, maybe it's component slash CLI or component slash Meshery CTL, or I'll have to give that some thought. But very briefly, brainstorming with the rest of you, is there another label that we know we could use? I think right now there's an area UI. Maybe that should be named something else. But if there's an area UI, that might mean that we should then build the Meshery UI. And if not, we should skip it. What other areas can we section out? Or not section out, but segregate out. I think it sort of assumes that, yeah, go ahead. Kush, thanks for that. Udit, so does anyone have any comments on this stuff in general? We wanted to make sure that we got it out in front of this group. Cool. So Udit, thanks for this. This is these look pretty great. Okay, well, good. Well, so that was that topic. Please review the rest of the doc if you think that there's other changes we should do. Next, a couple topics on continuous integration for some new repositories that have been created. Lidor, I'm eyeballing you right now if you don't feel it. There was the image hub, the Learn Layer 5, and as of the weekend, the repository right now is called Meshery. And really, this is a Meshery operator for Kubernetes. I'm sorry, a Kubernetes operator for Meshery. So we will probably rename that soon. But Lidor, this will be an implementation of a Kubernetes operator using the operator SDK. So it'll be in Go. How far along are we on these first two?
Lidor has left. He will be back in 5 minutes.
Oh, okay. He's not on the call. Okay, that's why there's silence. Okay. Anyone else wanting to step up to the plate? Step up to.
Is it from zero or is it already something that is built?
I think the image hub is halfway there, or most of it's actually, I think it's most of the way there. I think that the next step was probably about maybe creating a Helm chart for it. This other one though, Learn Layer 5, it doesn't, I think it's from scratch. Like it's a small Go program that really just needs to have a very simple like Docker build and push, or it just needs to start from scratch from there. Basically taking some of the Meshery CI.yaml steps and putting them over there.
So yeah, I'm back, Lee. So if you need me after.
Your ears were burning, Lidor. I was talking all about you. So Lidor, just do you recollect the current status of this image hub? CI?
Not yet. We stopped about for the testing, if I remember well. I don't have a status about it. Let me back to you quickly. I mean, I need to have a look on it. And
no problem. Actually, let me do, since we've got about 5 minutes left. Maybe let me suggest this, that I think that the CI for Learn Layer 5 is more or less absent. I thought, if that's the case, Adina, that might be.
I should assign something. I should start do something. And
nice. Okay, that's a good.
okay. So, and we also need to review what else I promised in the past, because there were two things that I think I don't think, but I have them written down.
Right. Yeah. The stuff from the past was really these three issues right here, and it was about beginning to version the Meshery server build.
Yeah.
and Lidor knocked out the first of them, which was to create a properties.yaml file to be included inside the Meshery container image. The next two are a bit more Go based. So one of them is to create an endpoint in Meshery server that
Oh,
returns.
that one, yeah.
Yeah. And the other
Okay.
one was to create a CLI command in Meshery CTL, or to change the existing CLI command where it's Meshery CTL version, that it would call out, it would call that endpoint.
The thing is, I didn't set up any development
Sure.
on
Those
my
might,
laptop.
thanks for
So
being accountable and responsible enough to take us back to things that we talked about. But so it might be that those are far enough along that switching focus to like CI for Learn Layer 5 might be.
okay, and I will get to you, but not today.
Sure.
Probably maybe on Saturday.
Sure.
Okay.
Sounds
Every
great.
time around this hour, I'm going and see the apartments.
Totally. Lidor, I slapped your name down next to this.
Yeah, and there was another. So there were two things. There were that endpoint, and there was another thing with someone that came new in the community. But yeah, I don't remember in which meetup it was, but it was someone that was new, and you said
Yeah.
check with Adina, and yeah,
Yeah.
maybe you lost a member of in the community because of me.
I, I don't remember what that was.
I will find it. I took notes.
Okay. Okay. Good.
Can you a bit elaborate Lee, about the Meshery operator? What
Yeah. So, so today in the Meshery project, we don't have any Kubernetes operators or any a controller or custom resource definitions for Meshery, but we're going to go build one out. And when we do, we'll base that work on the operator SDK. And so, and this is Go based. So we'll end up taking, probably, forking this repo and building out our operator using that SDK. And
I would say I'm more intrigued about this one because that will be an opportunity for me to learn something by actually creating the Sierra uh, the resource deploy.
sure.
Right? That's all about that. It is all about this operator, right?
Correct. Correct.
But yeah, I wouldn't like to do it alone. So yeah, also assistant or with someone in pair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Like this week, we'll also learn more. I will say about research maps. Am I correct me if I'm wrong or if I'm saying stupid things, Lee?
Nope, that's right. I'll put a link to there's a new repo out there that's called Mesherator. We're probably going to change it, but I'll include a link to it so that you guys.
Also, if you need this urgent, you cannot count on me until you couldn't count on me being in the past. I don't know about now. Yeah, but yeah, probably only on Saturday I will in the morning.
Sure. No problem.
Or in the midnight, yeah, when I have insomnia.
And then I guess on this one, Lidor, I don't know if maybe you want to, or anyone wants to, or the two of you, if you guys want to check into this one or not.
Can you say some words about it? What is it?
Yeah, it is a small Go program. It's actually two small Go programs. It's a sample app. It's kind of like Image Hub, where we're building out another sample app. and it's pretty small in nature, and it more or less just needs like to take basically the same like half of the same steps that we have in Meshery, the ci.yaml, probably need to go over here as well, where it just needs to be built. The tests need to be run. The security.
But you already have the make file, so.
Right. Yep. And then it just needs to be pushed. There's already a Docker Hub repository, and it just needs to be pushed. Or really, in many respects, it's like a copy and paste of a subset of the ci.yaml needs to come over here. And so conceptually, it's a straightforward deal.
Okay. Okay, you can. I can take it. You can write it. My name.
Nice. All right. We're two after. Anybody have anything else?
Lee, I have one thing
Mhm.
to ask. Like, I have been attending a meeting after a long time, and I was going through Layer 5 organization, all the repository today, and got to know. And you also mentioned that there are a lot of them added new. So we need to add them in the list we give to the new contributors, where we mention that these many are the repository and what a specific repository does. So we need to update that, and for that I could do it, but I need to get a brief, so I can find that in the previous meeting. I can watch the video. If you could tell me, like, which are the specifics, meeting minutes or meeting minutes videos that I have to go through.
Very good. You know what I'll do? I'll just type it out right here. What those are? So that's a great call out, Nupur. Because it's just I'll just type a couple of short descriptions and we'll be. Thanks for that. Anyone have anything else? Well, I'm hoping that. Yep, go ahead.
I don't know. All is fine in my side. So,
All right. I'm hoping that the 30 minutes snaps us to on track. So, Idit, or Udit, anything, any just kind of progress from your side in terms of? I know you and Lidor were going to have a conversation about GitHub Actions.
Yeah. Yes, Lee. So we have been like I was busy with this our Litmus 1.5, and we are like dogfooding our GitHub Actions in that also. Like we have added a custom bot for running the actions for RPS. Nothing more in this.
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah. All right. So Kush, just kind of, I guess, a good note to Udit's work within Litmus Chaos might be a good. You can see a live example of some of those bots. I guess some of those GitHub or those labeling actions. All right. Well, thank you all. It's been a great 35 minutes.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
See you guys.
See you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Thank
Bye,
you, Lee.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, Lee. Bye.